Whether you like it or not, compression will solve many issues within your mix, so don't try to avoid it at any costs. Every single producer or mix engineer has different approach to understand where, why, and how you should use it. Personally, I never relied on specs or algorithms. Instead, I look for specific taste or character as simply as possible. If that's your cup of tea as well, then this video is for you. Before using Compressor, you need to have full control over the input. If there are some clicks, pops, room reverb, or any type of mod or rumble, compressors will exaggerate those. Even with the help of audio cleanup tools like Isotope RX or some AI plugins out there, if the signal is bad, then better double down on recording another take rather than polishing a third. There is more room to control things like low frequency mod and resonances, and if you're wondering why to do so, just look how gain reduction looks with and without high-pass sidechain filter. It gets even worse if a track or mix has a lot of resonances. Instead of sweeping through with regular EQ, use our plugin Rezo. It removes them dynamically to leave only the good stuff in. You can try to find resonant spots with compression on. If gain reduction starts to act weird, that's where you create a note. Not to mention, you can just calculate smart targets with one click. Okay, once you've done with cleanup, it's time to choose your fader. Majority of stock compressors are transparent VCA ones. Those give you control over every single parameter. Analog model VCAs give the flavor of some legends like API or SSL, and long story short, VCAs are more universal. The easiest compressor to use is an optical one modeled after classic LA2A. It works especially great on vocals, but also on bass parts due to the smooth and slow attack and release times. All you need to do is to set the amount of reduction and then compensate it with gain knob.
You found yourself another hardest school desires. I'm trying to recover. Do you even realize?
If you're looking for a punchy and snappy sound, Fat Compressor is the best bet. Input knob basically acts like a threshold. Attack and release knobs need no introduction, but just be aware that they work in opposite direction for the ones on VCA type. If you choose really high ratio, it can work like a limiter, but can also be a great choice for parallel compression. There is also Tube Compressor for the ultimate analog character and dozens of different hybrids and all-in-one tools, but knowing those three I've mentioned first is more than enough to get you going. It is time to do some compression. And don't worry, I won't give you another random cheat sheet or exact values for drums, bass, vocals, because as you may already know, they doesn't make sense. But in case you want a reference point, it is better to have a mix you like loaded in reference plugin and use punch dots feature. It shows you how each frequency range is compressed in comparison to your own track. Punch dots will move towards the 0 dB line if that frequency band is more compressed, and move away from 0 dB if it's less compressed in your original. Now, let me show you the easiest technique to understand and use compression. The most important parameters are attack and release. They describe how fast compressor reacts and how long compression takes place. There's also ratio, which describes how aggressive compression can be. Lighter ratio like 2:1 is great to smooth out things like vocals with no significant peaks. 4:1 may be called medium, but I call it default settings for things like drums, bass or plucky instruments. You get the point. The higher you set it, the more smashed things will be, with Infinity 2:1 being a great choice for parallel compression. Now, don't sweat too much about exact attack and release settings. Instead, try this. Push threshold to the limits and choose medium ratio. Pay attention what's happening once I set it to slow and fast. With slower attack, you get more transients, so things will be punchy. With fast attack, they are basically gone. Once you set the attack you like, back off threshold and work on release times. Set it up in the middle and try to match the tempo of your signal. It is easy to do by watching how VU meter needle reacts. To get the most out of compression, try to make it touch 0 just before the next hit. Obviously, there are way more recommended settings, but once you hear the compression with the method I showed you, you can adjust it to your own taste without any hints or hacks. I hope that this video made compression way easier for you, and there is no need to be afraid about it, because once you spread out compression through your whole session, you can get way more controlled mix. That results in no struggles while gluing the whole song together. Just remember to not overuse the gain reduction and smash everything to the wall of sounds, because just like all things in mixing, it's all about finding that sweet spot. And if you want to find that sweet spot, improve the quality of your mixes, and learn more about our plugins, make sure to hit that subscribe button and leave a like to not miss our new videos. Till the next time.